Well, obviously, much better in the second half. You know, I told the team that, you know, we have to get better, and we have to be able to put two halves together. You know, we corrected some things in the second half. We played much more aggressive defensively in the second half. We rebounded the ball better second half, and we didn't turn it over in the second half. We went from 8 turnovers to 3, and we had a guy, an upperclassman who came off the bench, who, after not starting, not playing much in the last game, not playing that much in the first half, had his mind right and came in and played within himself, and obviously, you know, scored some bucket for us, which helped get a separation. But, you know, Octavius has 4 offensive rebounds on the offensive end, helped change the game on the offensive end along with Shaq. But really, the story was more on the defensive end. The thing I'm most disappointed in would be that we gave up way too many offensive rebounds. We cannot give those up against those guys, against anybody.
Do you think you've hit on maybe something with starting Jermaine and him bring Shaq off the bench? You got 19 points between those two guys today.
Well, I mean, you know, we'll see. We'll see. We are starter is an equal opportunity job in our program. Just because you started the last game, if your mind's not right, you're not practicing hard, you're not playing the way we want you to, you probably won't start. It doesn't matter if you started 17 games in a row. That's what it's all about. And again, that's, you know, we gave guys a chance. Obviously lost 2 in a row, needed to make a change. Our seniors stepped up. And, you know, the greatest thing about tonight, too, was Jermaine Sanders couldn't have cheered more for Shaq, you know, in terms of he was glad he was playing, even though he played far more minutes. And you know, well, actually he didn't, because Jermaine, we played both of them together some. But, you know, and the minutes he was out, again, you got your senior and junior with the right attitude, it makes a big difference for you. You know, you got to get leadership out of those guys.
Jermaine said something about you wanted to, in the second half, maybe crowd their ball handlers a little more, something to that effect. Was that
well, we had to get pressure on the basketball, which we did early in the game. And then as the half went along, in the first half, our pressure declined, and then they were running a lot of high ball screens. And our second guard, we needed to be out jumping the ball screen and not letting them really come off of it, and what we call trap switching or running and jumping. And we weren't doing that in the first half. So that as a result, they were getting to their overload, they were getting to some stuff. And the second half, we became much more aggressive, really didn't let them run their play. Then they went to another little set, which they got us a time or 2 on. We made a correction in a timeout, and we got better there. But by no means were we perfect defensively. I don't, you know, but we were better. We were better and we were much more aggressive. But the blockout thing is a problem. You know, we've got, because they're not necessarily a terribly big team. They're pretty athletic, but we've got to shore that up quickly, very quickly.
The 2 road losses, you guys turned it over 35 times. These last 2 games, you've had 35 assists. And what's been the big difference there?
Well, I didn't have some magic wand, and I didn't suddenly come with some magic coaching format. The last 2 games are written on the board from when we talk about offense. Keep it simple. You're open, shoot the ball. If you're not open, pass the ball. If you got an advantage on the dribble, either off a ball screen or a guy running at you, then you got to make them play off 2 feet with 2 hands. Either shoot it, they come to you, pass it, okay? And, you know, that sounds simple, but that's what they've done. They, you know, first half, today we got, Tay had a couple turnovers trying to do what we asked him to do, which was pass to his partner when they double teamed him. One he caught in the middle of the lane, should have just turned and shot it. I mean, he's trying to throw it to Gary down there, and he just should have turned and shot it. But, you know, offense is not hard if you play under control and you keep the game simple. You just got to keep the game simple. You can't try to do too much. And the reason Shaq Thomas played so well tonight is he did what he does best. He got the ball to 15 feet and made pull-up jump shots, which that's what he does best. Now, the only thing I'm disappointed in him, he didn't get any offensive rebounds. We got to get him to the glass, okay? Because he's athletic, he's 6'7" and that, and you know, he scored some jump shots. He did that part of it. But if we're gonna compete against the best in the league, you know, I can't be satisfied just because the guy made a few jump shots. And he did good there. He's got to get to the glass. Jermaine Sanders, had one tonight. So out of that position, we got one offensive rebound. That's why we only have 8. When you got to get 3 guys to the glass. When you get your 2 bigs going, they're going to go because they're around the basket most of the time. You either got to get your 2 guard or your 3-man going, or sometimes both of them going. Then you can have big offensive rebounding game. Until you do that, we're not going to. And that is a concern. Like I said, guys, I'm grateful for the win, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm happy about how we played. I'm not happy about how we played. Didn't play very well in the first half. The second half we were better, but we still got a hell of a lot of work to do.
Did Shaq need to have a little fire lit under him? And it just
I can tell you this, he practiced yesterday like his life depended on it. So, I learned this a long time ago as a coach. The best motivator in the world is not some speech. It's that pine. That motivates you more than anything. When you want to play and be a player, when you find yourself sitting over there, that'll motivate you real quick. All the speeches in the world by Newt Brockney and all that, that's great. That pine's the best. Okay? That pine's the best. He wanted to play. He practiced yesterday like he wanted to play. Last 2 days, he's practiced like he wanted to play.
Coach, one of your guys just a few minutes ago referred to this as a trap game. Are you glad that they were able to maybe recognize it, respond, and come out with a win, or would you rather not even then think about it as a trap game?
Yeah, I didn't, we as a staff didn't feel like they were quite ready to play tonight when we went in the locker room, and we addressed it, and they weren't quite ready to play. And it's, they're young, they're inexperienced, and part of being young and inexperienced is they watch on TV, they watch the scores, and they say, well, these guys, in league play, they're over, and it's natural for them to not be quite ready to play. And when you got an older veteran team, they just want to smash everybody, and they realize these games, you got to play in these games, and we got to grow up. We just got to keep growing up. We got to keep getting better. But, at least they responded in the second half. They didn't panic. We're down 4 at halftime. We didn't panic. We came out and did what we needed to do to win the game, which was defend and rebound better and not turn the ball over.
How much of a spark was that Gary play early in the first or second half where he blocks the 3, gets the leak out, gets the dunk, and kind of turns the momentum?
Well, again, the Bearcats are about the defensive rebounding. When you make a great defensive play, then that gets us ignited. That gets us going, and it deflates the other team. And I don't know. On the replay, it sure didn't look like it. I'll give, Troy Copain made a hell of a play. If it was a foul, it was a foul. But he didn't give up, and he blocked that shot down there, and the kid ended up hitting 1 free throw instead of getting 2 points and getting them going. But we could have we scrambled like crazy in that play, and Troy ended up, when a lot of guys would not have ran down there. I don't know, a year ago, I don't know if Troy would have ran down there. But he did. And, I wasn't right there, so I can't say it was a good call, bad call, whatever. I have to look at it on tape. But, the fact that he made that effort was what we got to do as Bearcats. We got to be, we have this phrase where we say, look, make him make one more play. Guy might be wide open. If you run at him, yeah, you may be able to stop his shot, and he may drive by you, but at least he has to put the ball and dribble it and pick it back up and shoot it. If you don't do that and he's wide open, it's easy. He's just going to shoot it in. He's got a lot of things can happen. He might dribble it off his foot. Another guy might run at him. He might decide to pass it and throw in the stands. You got to make him make one more play, when you're scrambling, when somebody's made a mistake. And, Fraud turned it over there, and we could have easily given up on that play, but we didn't. And that was kind of indicative of the second half. We played much harder, and as a result, we were able to win the game.
Coach, has the offensive complexity simplified at all from the beginning of the season until now? Have you simplified the approach? Have you tweaked it, or have the players kind of just grown into it?
Well, I think we're getting better at understanding. We're getting better at executing. We're getting better at understanding, recognizing what's going to be open. Okay, and when they take this away, good offensive teams can get to their second and third option. It's like a great NFL quarterback. Okay, the average guy can drop back there, and if his primary receiver's open, great, and he can't find anybody else. The great ones can back primary guys open, secondary guys open, it checks off, and he finds that third receiver, and he doesn't take a loss, and he gets a gain, maybe short, but he gets a gain. And when you play offense, when you become a really good offensive team, is when teams, as we get deeper in the season, are going to take your primary, the first part of your play away most of the time. You got to be able to get to the second and third option of it and keep playing and recognize and play basketball. And, I think the other thing that's happened is Troy, as he's growing up, he's got, in the last 2 games, he's had 13 assists and 3 turnovers. When you got a guard that can go beat his man and make a play, there's no play for that. That's better than any play. A player that can beat his man, create help, and create a scramble, and then find the open guy. Those guys make you a good offensive coach and makes your offense run better. You can. Coach Cronin, when Coach Cronin and I first got here, we were very limited offensively. We used to call it, we got to draw the ball into the basket. We have to draw it to the basket. We had to, run every play perfectly. We had to try to create a shot every time down because we just didn't have guys that were good enough to go make a play. Troy, Farad, Kevin's beginning to make some plays, and when you've got some guards that can make some plays, it makes you a better coach. It makes your offense run a lot smoother because you're not going to always get, just because you run that play, they're not just going to let you get what you want.
You had Kevin and Farad in foul trouble in that first half. Day came in and gave you some really quality minutes.
He was
nice
solid.
lift.
He was solid. Day, you look at his line, he was 2 for 5, but he made a couple of good buckets. He got 2 offensive rebounds, and he held the fort for us. Sometimes you got to have a guy that can just hold the fort. You don't have to go out there and get you 20, but he has to go out there and not turn it over, be solid on defense, until you can get some other guys back in who might be able to do a little bit more. And Day-Day's attitude's been great. He's grown up, and he had a big night against Memphis, obviously. And, but you'll see more of him. We just got to keep him solid on the defensive end. He, as quick as he is and all that, sometimes he gets so aggressive that he lets his guy beat him sometimes. But he did hold the fort in the first half. Did a good job in the time that he was in there.
Anything else? Thanks.